Hi there, welcome to my channel mathssl. I'm speaking Sakability. Today I'm going to show you. I'm teaching at Cap Academy, so I set up the paper Mathematics Paper 2, which is I'm examiner Saqib Latif and moderator my dear friend Tashriq Daniel. So obviously, I would like to these two brand new questions I want to add up because this is a very beautiful question. I set up myself. This is a brand new question, so I would like to explain to you these analytical geometry questions. And some of my students they requested they want I must upload the videos about these questions. Have a look. So the question number one. This is a brand new question. I set up the paper. In the figure, A, B, C, and D are the vertices of parallelogram A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. This is a parallelogram. AC and BD, which these two diagonals, AC and BD, they are the diagonals of the parallelogram, intersect at E. They cut by E, point E. F is the midpoint of CD. This F is the midpoint of CD. Now the first question I oppose, determine the coordinates of E. 2 mark question. So the E is the midpoint of AC and BD. So obviously I need to find the coordinates of E. So I don't have the information about the B. I don't have the points B. So obviously A and C, these 2 points is available, is given. So I'm gonna take the midpoint and that will be the coordinates of E. So the midpoint of AC. Midpoint of AC I'm gonna take, and the formula is x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. So this is my formula I have. So this is my coordinates of A and C. I'm gonna plug it into this formula. X1 plus x2, so 3 plus 5 over 2, and that's gonna be y1 plus y2, 5 plus 3 over 2. Now I'm gonna simplify with the calculator. I'm gonna use the calculator. Therefore, after I use the calculator, I find the E. This is gonna be coordinates of E, 4 and 4, because E is the midpoint of AC. So question 1.1.2 says the coordinates of B, 4 mark. So the coordinates of B, you must remember, this is the B, X and Y. We don't have the coordinates of B, so we need to find. So we can find these coordinates of B by inspection or by midpoint. I'm gonna use by midpoint. I'm gonna find by midpoint by calculation, because we do have the midpoint of AC, which is E, and the E is also midpoint of BD. So after that I'm gonna equate the midpoint of BD with the coordinates of E. Have a look. So these are the coordinates of BD, midpoint of BD. So the midpoint of BD, x1 plus x2. So I got x1 x, and positive and negative become negative over 2, and the other side is y1 plus y2. So we got y plus 1 over 2. Now I'm gonna equate with E. Why? Because the E is also midpoint of BD. Right. So X goes with X, Y goes with Y. So the x negative 1 over 2, I'm gonna equate with x is equal to 4, and y plus 1 over 2 with y also is 4. So LCD is 2. Multiply 2 both sides, and then you got only x negative 1. 2 and 2 gonna be cancelled. 2 times 4 is 8. Or you can cross multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. X negative 1 multiply 1 is gonna be x negative 1. And this side, y plus 1 is equal to also gonna be 8. So the x become is equal to 8. Positive negative 1 become positive 1. So the therefore x is 9. And this side we have y 8 positive 1 become negative 1. So y becomes 7. So we do have therefore the coordinates of b. X is 9 and the y value is 7. Question number 3, 1.2. He said determine the gradient of AD. 2-mark question. So the AD, this is A and D, the gradient between these 2 points. So I have the coordinates of A and D. So I'm going to put into the gradient formula, which is gradient formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I plug all these values into this formula. Y2 minus y1, 5 minus 1 over 3, 3 plus 1, negative and negative become positive. So now this is going to be a 4 over 4 is going to be equal to 1. So the gradient of AD is 1. 1.3 question said determine the coordinates of F, the midpoint of CD, and hence the equation of the line passing through F parallel to AD. Now the question says that this is the midpoint. F is the midpoint of CD. Now, so he said now the line passing through F point and parallel to AD. So which means the line is passing here, and that line is going to be a parallel to AD, and he wants the midpoint of, you must find the midpoint of CD, and then you need to find that line equation. So it's passing through F. So I'll show you now. So mean a parallel to AD. This is the line. So obviously I'm going to use the coordinates of F to find the equation of this line, and the gradient is going to be same because this line is a parallel to AD. So if the lines are parallel, their gradients are equal. So obviously I'm going to use this gradient to obtain this line. So these are the coordinates of C. So first I need to find the midpoint of CD. So the midpoint of CD, that's the first thing in the question they ask. So F is the midpoint of CD, so x1 plus x2. So the 5 positive and negative become negative 1 over 2, and this side is y1 plus y2, 3 plus 1 over 2, 3 plus 1 over 2. So I'm going to simplify with the calculator. So this is going to be 4 over 2 and also 4 over 2. So the answer is going to be 2 and 2. So now, which means therefore the F, the coordinates of F we have now. So we have the coordinates of F2 and 2. Now we need to find the equation of the line. So obviously the equation of the line, so it's gonna say y is equal to mx plus c. So the gradient I have, why? Because this line is a parallel to AD, so we're gonna use the gradient of AD, which is 1. So you 1 gradient we don't write, so you can say 1x plus c, because 1 we don't write, we just say x. Now so we're gonna substitute f, the midpoint, which we find the coordinates of f. To find the equation of this line, we need the points to substitute to find the y-intercept. So obviously we're going to use the f point to find the y-intercept, right? So you substitute into that equation. So this is x, this is y. So become 2 is equal to x. Place of x, so it's going to be a 2 plus c. So now this become 2 negative 2c. So therefore c is equal to 0. So the y-intercept is 0. So therefore the equation of the line is y is equal to x. So this is the equation of the line. So the line is y is equal to x. So y is equal to x gonna pass through origin here like this straight. So must remember we didn't know how this line gonna turn out. So this we draw as a rough. We roughly draw this line because this line is a parallel to AD. So this line we draw a parallel to AD, and then we find the equation of the line, and that come y is equal to x. So which means this line is like this, y is equal to a straight line cutting the origin. So this is the, you don't need to draw the line, but I'm just explaining you now because why the line become y is equal to x. So if it's y is equal to x, then it pass through the origin here straight line like this. That's gonna be y is equal to x. Question 1.4 say if D and E and G is not shown in the diagram, are collinear, calculate the value of t. So these three D, E and G are collinear points. You must find the value of t. So t is missing here. So we need to must remember the collinear points are when the gradients are equal. So all of these 3 points, the gradients are equal to each other. So that's why these points are collinear. So obviously now I'm gonna take 2 points and take the gradient and gonna equate to find the value of t because the points are collinear. Say DEG, not shown in the diagram. These are the points because on straight line. So that's why we say the points are collinear when their gradients are equal. So I need to find the gradient of ED and the gradient of EG to find the value of t. Have a look here. So I need to find the M, DE or ED, same thing. So the gradient between these 2 points, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So I consider, so this is my y2, x2 and y2. Let me write it down. So this is my x1, y1, this is x2 and y2. So y2 minus y1, so 4 negative 1 over, and this 4 negative negative become positive, 4 plus 1. So the answer gonna be 3 over 5. Now I must take the gradient between E and G. So now I need to take the gradient between E and G. So I say this is x2, y2, this is x1 and y1. Remember, between these two, I say this is x2 and y2. I can change anytime. So I can say this is x1 and y1. I still can say x2 and y2. Doesn't matter, right? So the gradient between E and G now. Gradient GE or EG, same thing. Also y2 minus y1. So the t negative 4 over x2 minus 1, 9, x2 minus x1, 9 minus 4. So this is going to be a t negative 4 over 5 after I simplify. Right, now the points are collinear. So the collinear points mean collinear points, because he said the points are collinear. So in collinear points, I need to equate now. So I say t negative 4 over 5. Both gradients I'm gonna equate, and is equal to 3 over 5. Must remember, na? Because I need to equate the gradient now. The gradient of GE is equal to the gradient of DE. They are equate now. So now I can cross multiply, or LCD is 5, multiply by 5, 5 and 5 cancel, t negative 4. These are also 5 and 5 cancel, 3. Therefore, the t is going to be a 3, negative 4 become positive 4. Is going to be a t is going to be equal to 7. So now we find the missing coordinates of t is 7 through collinear points. So this is the last question. He said determine by calculation whether A, B, C, D is a rectangle or not. Give a reason for your answer. 5 mark question. We need to determine by calculation whether A, B, C, D is a rectangle or not. So obviously, if you can prove two ways. Either you can take the gradient, you can take the distance. You apply the distance formula. So you take the length of AC and the BD. If the diagonals are equal, then we say this is a rectangle. If the diagonals are not equal, the answer not coming equal to each other, so then which means we say this is not a rectangle. But now, and we can prove also the second method. We take the gradient between two adjacent sides, and then we multiply. If the answer come equal to negative 1, then we say the this is a rectangle. If the answer not come equal to negative 1, then we say this is not a rectangle. For instance, I got the gradient of AD already, so I need to take the gradient of CD, because AD and CD, these two adjacent side, and the angle D is going to be 90 degree, because this is sharing the vertex here. So I have the gradient of AD, which is equal to 1. Now I need to take the gradient between CD. So these are the coordinates of C and D. Y2 minus Y1. So 3 negative 1, x2 minus x1, 5, negative negative become positive 1, and the gradient is going to be 2 over 6, which means 1 over 3. Now, so obviously now I need to multiply both gradient of AD, multiply the gradient of CD must be equal to negative 1. Now this is 1, this is 1 over 3, should be equal to negative 1, but this is coming 1 over 3 is not equal to negative 1. So therefore, I can say AD is not perpendicular to CD. Now, so therefore I must give a reason that the A, B, C, D is not a rectangle. Why? Because corner angle, which is angle D, is not equal to 90 degree. Have a look here. So this is a corner angle, should be equal to 90 degree. Be not equal to 90 degree, that's why this is not a rectangle. Because if come answer equal to negative 1, then which means this angle D is equal to 90 degree. Because the both gradient, you take the gradient of AD, the gradient of CD, and you multiply, answer comes is equal to negative 1, then which means that angle D is equal to 90 degree. So we can say this is a rectangle. Otherwise, if the answer don't come equal to negative 1, then angle D is not equal to 90 degree, then this is not a rectangle. Please like and subscribe my channel. If you have any question, comment below. I will assist you. Have a nice day.